Hello, I'm Nick Anderson, and this is the Wednesday night show starring me, Nick Anderson. Thanks for joining us again. Last week we didn't have a show. I had something come up, so I apologize about that. But we're back, and we've got a fantastic guest this evening. We've got Ian McAlister from Chippewa Falls, born and raised, and he is the drummer for my group, Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers. He has some exciting news to share, and also we'll just get to know him a little bit better because often he's seen as the quiet guy in the band, and I think it's going to be good for all of us to get to know him a little bit better because it turns out he's pretty darn cool. All right, before we get into that, we've got a few of our normal things here. Now, you'll notice instead of a beer this week, I have this nice tropical looking drink right here. And that reason why is because it's gorgeous here in Eau Claire. You can't see, it's so bright and sunny that you can't even see it out there. So I made myself a margarita today. So we've got a little bit of margarita mix, some ice, and tequila, the necessary component. And let's take a sip here and see how I did. Refreshing, really refreshing. Yeah, I definitely recommend making yourself some sort of fruit drink or light beer or something on this fine day. I think I read that it was 79 degrees outside. My wife and I took a several-mile walk today and sat in a park. It was nice. It was nice. So it felt a little bit normal. That was awesome. So I hope everybody is doing well out there. And before we bring Ian in here, I wanted to let you know if you've got questions for Ian tonight, we are going to be taking questions in the comment section. And start thinking about them now. What you have to ask Ian. Let's see here. Hi Nick. Yes, it is a nice day in Eau Claire. It sure is, Lisa. Yeah. So without further ado, let's bring Ian in here. Let's see what he's got to say. Let's see if we can get him here. Hey Ian, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Good, good. Now, folks, if you can hear that blowing sound on the background, I've been told that no one is vacuuming at Ian's house, but it's just his very old computer
Yeah,
is it can't handle the heat today.
I think it's a 2012 or a 2013, maybe.
Yeah, vintage.
Yeah,
So,
old
Ian,
school.
we've got a few things to talk with you about today. I am personally very excited. So, you just got, and this is breaking news, you have gotten a drum sponsorship. Tell us a little bit about your new drum set and the multiple sponsorships that came along with it.
So, I got a drum kit and a sponsorship from a company called SJC. And they hooked me up with a really cool shell pack of three drums that are teal in cover, which is really cool
Okay.
because it kind of matches the guy's guitars. And it has ebony black satin hardware, which also looks really cool. And
Awesome.
then I also got a new snare drum a few months ago from a company called Pork Pie, who's renowned for their snare drums. And so I got a little one that sounds really awesome called the Little Squealer,
Nice.
and that one is black. Um, so yeah, I'm all decked out and ready to get gigging here
That's
in a little
awesome.
bit, I hope.
So,
Yeah.
have you gotten to gig out with this new drum set at all yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. And we kind of got lucky with these sponsorships. We grabbed them right before all of this madness happened, and they
Mm-hmm.
got shipped out. So we got kind of lucky there. And it's so sad. We were very excited to. Um, Ian and I were gonna play quite a few festivals this summer that got canceled, and hopefully
Mm-hmm.
we'll be able to play a little bit out there, and we'll see what's gonna happen here. But most of our big festival gigs, all of our big festival gigs have been canceled. But we'll get out there and see those drums are rocking pretty soon. I personally can't wait to hear them. I haven't even heard them yet,
Mm-hmm.
so that'll be cool. Speaking of drums, so you give drum lessons, and are you doing that right now?
Yeah, I am. Well, I took obviously since COVID started, I had to take a break with in-person lessons, and
Sure.
I'm still holding off on that. I know Wisconsin opened up a lot of their uh, businesses this past week, but I'm going to hold off for at least um, a couple more weeks and see how
Okay.
things turn out before I do that. I'm definitely happy to teach online lessons though. If you want to reach out and if you have the equipment, I'd be more than happy to give you some lessons.
Sure.
So
So if you are interested in taking drum lessons from Ian, you can search him on Facebook right here, Ian McAlister, professional drummer, or just comment in this section and we'll get in contact with you on how you can take lessons from Ian. And if you need to see the proof of his magic, just watch any of the band's YouTube videos. Ian's a fantastic drummer. So
yeah,
awesome. So now I want to get to know you a little bit better, and I want to help everybody out there get to know you a little bit better outside of the musical realm of things, because I know a lot of people, and a lot of people who are probably watching tonight know you as the musician, the drummer for the band. But let's learn a little bit more about you. I'm going
okay.
to ask a few open-ended questions. One of the
Oh,
first
great.
really cool things that you did was you went on a study abroad trip in college. So tell me
Did.
about your study abroad trip.
So I studied abroad for a semester in Ghana, which is a country in West Africa, kind of at the bottom of the bulge. And yeah, I was in their capital, in their main campus. Their capital is called Accra, and it's a very big urban sprawl. And
Okay.
so what I did over there was basically I took classes at the university and went on trips to see the countryside and all sorts of cool stuff.
Awesome. Now, what was there a language barrier there, or
Um, a small one, since they were colonized by the British at a point in their history.
mm-hmm.
Um, Most of the people there who have received education, which is still, I would say, a minority of the people, know English. So it's not their primary language; it's their secondary language for those who are educated.
Okay.
And for a lot of the population who isn't educated, they don't really speak English much, if at all. But
Okay.
for the people
And
I was around,
and I
it
can't
was
remember which one, but you didn't have, was it electricity or was it plumbing?
um both. I
Both.
mean, I
Okay.
did. Um, so I wasn't in some rural village in a hut or anything. I was in a dormitory,
Okay.
and they put the international students in probably one of the nicer dormitories. But they have, um, since there's so many people there and they don't have enough production, they have to have rolling blackouts throughout the city. So a lot of the
Okay.
times we had our own generator in our dorm. So when the rest of the campus lost electricity, we would oftentimes still have it, not always. And it could be, the afternoon we lose electricity or like half a day sometimes.
Okay.
And the plumbing was more consistent, but there was a period of like 2 or 3 days once where we couldn't shower or anything. So I went to the pool on campus. There was a pool.
Okay. I was gonna say because
Took a dip.
I've spent days in a small minivan with you touring the country where you didn't shower for a couple days, and that's rough territory. Rough territory to be in around you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
nah, I'm just kidding. Well, cool. Anybody have any questions about that? Throw your questions in the comments. There's so much that we could learn from his experience in Ghana, I'm sure, but we only have time for a little bit. But if you guys have certain questions that you want to hear the answers to, go ahead and pop those in right now, and we'll come back to them. But Ian, I guess what was the one, like the biggest thing you took away from your study abroad experience?
Biggest thing I took away. I guess I thought I would receive more culture shock than I did. Like I expected. I mean, there was a lot of differences to get used to, for sure. And I think them having been exposed to Western culture kind of through their history of being colonized by the British, that probably affected them culturally and made them more similar to me because I expected to go there, to this totally different place and be like, have experience like people who were so different than me. But when all the people I met there were just so nice and so like relatable, even though like there
So they were
were
a lot
cultural
different than you there.
differences. They were, but
I'm
what
just kidding. You said
surprised
they were so
me.
nice. I'm messing with you.
Oh. Yeah, so what surprised me was how not different they were.
Okay.
How similar
Sure. And we did have a few
we are.
questions come in. So one question was, what was the biggest culture shock? I know you said there was a lot of parts that didn't shock you as much as you had thought would, but what was the biggest culture shock for you?
Um, there were a lot of things to get used to. They have a really um lax sense of time generally
Okay.
over there. So when we would submit things to get like our student IDs or whatever that we needed, or even just registering for classes, it would take like weeks to get done through their administration. And even just like professors and people being on time was like it wasn't as strict that way. But then when they get in their cars, they drive like fast, crazy people, which makes no
Interesting.
sense. So they have to have speed bumps all over campus, like every 50 feet. Otherwise, they would drive 120 miles an hour down the roads because they're just nuts. And then, it takes some time getting used to not being around all the amenities that we're used to, reliable Wi-Fi and all that jazz. But
cool. All right.
yeah, I don't know.
Awesome. Next question we have is how many places did you sing at?
How much
did you do any performing over there?
I don't think I did really perform while I was there. I took a drumming class through the college.
Okay.
A hand drumming class because I
didn't know that.
Would be super cool. Yeah.
So that's where all your technique comes from, then.
I don't know. It was a beginner's class. I feel like I could have been in an advanced class.
Okay. So I guess my answer, I'm going to answer this one for Ian. How many places did you sing at? I would say however many places he took a shower is probably how many places he sang at. So I'm just assuming you seem like, I mean, we've stayed in hotels together across the road, and you're a singing in the shower kind of guy. That's just.
I am. Haley got super mad at me once. We were in traveling, and we were in an Airbnb, and it was like, I don't know what time it was, but I was just singing super loud. And our like hosts were in the house, and she was in the next room. She was like banging on the wall. Ian, be quiet.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, another question here from Sierra. What is the one thing that you had experienced or had in Ghana that you wish we had in the U.S.?
Oh, that's a tricky question.
You stumped him, Sierra Anderson, whoever that is.
Yeah, who is this girl? Sierra Anderson. That I wish we had in the U.S.
Speed bumps.
Oh, okay, I got it. So they had these little pouches of like frozen chocolate milk and like frozen yogurt, and they were everywhere, and you could get them for like 50 cents. And people, so there are a lot of peddlers just like everywhere you go in Ghana that like do carry coolers and other things on their head, and though when you're on the public transport system, which is basically these passenger vans with windows, and you're at a red light, they'll walk through between all the cars with like stuff on their head, baskets full of anything you could imagine. Like some have like comic books and kites and like gum and like just like food and
so you wish we had people walking around selling us stuff at all times?
Specifically,
okay, I'm kidding.
I forget what they were called. It's in my blog. Oh, if you want to learn more, I have a blog on Facebook that is about my study abroad in Ghana, and it's called Ian Ghana.
Ian Ghana. It's on or that's just what we search on Facebook to find it?
Yep. Okay. GHANA, Ian Ghana.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
But specifically those pouches of frozen chocolate milk and frozen yogurt were the best ever because they were so cheap and they were so refreshing to be everywhere.
Well, that leads into our next question as well, which is, did you eat any interesting food? Just from another Anderson. So I don't know where all these Andersons are coming from.
They had like a lot of. I mean, it's not interesting, but I really enjoyed the fresh fruit like mango and pineapple. Their staples. A lot of what they ate was rice and like soups that had rice and other things in them. And their food was really spicy over there, and I'm a wimp when it comes to spice.
Sure.
So, what else did I have? I had star fruit. I never had star fruit before. There was one other thing that I tried, but I don't remember what it was. My Ghanaian friend, got me some food sometime, and it had like these little green peppers in it, and I almost died.
That's hilarious. So for spicy food for you, is it that you don't like the taste, or is it that it just like hurts your stomach? Or both?
It doesn't. I just like have a big reaction to it. I wouldn't say it hurts, but it's not comfortable.
Okay.
Like, and I don't enjoy it. I don't really know how to.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. On to our next section here. I want to talk about another really, really interesting thing you did, which was work for the Carter Center. Now, I want you to start by just explaining for people who don't know, because I wasn't super familiar with this before you went down there. But what is the Carter Center? What did you do there? And where is it?
Okay. So the Carter Center is a non-governmental organization that does humanitarian work, and it was founded by President Jimmy Carter in after he was no longer president. He made this center, and it's in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't say that already, did I?
Nope.
And they do all sorts of work all over the world. They're an international focus mainly. Jimmy does a lot of domestic work too with like Habitat for Humanity, and he's like 100 or something right now. And he was still like building houses like a year ago, which was like nuts. But anyways, the international work they do, they had 3 main branches, I believe, and that they focused on.
The judicial?
No. So the 3 things that so they have a peace section where they work on international conflict and trying to
promote peace.
Yeah. And then they have a health initiative where they work on international diseases like malaria and guinea worm and mental health in the developing world. A lot of their work is in the developing world. And then they have democracy, which is where they monitor, which is the section I worked under, where they monitor elections in developing countries. They have to be invited. But basically they go over and they observe and they write a report and they say, how equitable or appropriately conducted the election was, so that the international community is aware of, how those countries are developing and holding democratic elections.
Okay, so you work directly with the Carter Center monitoring elections in
Yes.
foreign countries to make sure that nothing was being tampered with. And
yes.
So are you allowed to talk about like what countries it was or anything like that?
Yeah. I didn't.
I don't want to put you in any weird.
No, I don't think they gave me any access to sensitive information. And these elections have happened already by now, since it was 3 or 4 years ago. I was currently working in the West African countries, which makes sense. That's why they probably gave me the opportunity to be an intern, is because I had traveled to West Africa.
Sure.
So the 2 countries I was helping out with were Liberia and Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And basically what I would do each morning is I would go online and look at their domestic news outlets for information about political candidates and how things were progressing, and any issues that they were posting in the newspaper about what was going on politically. And then I would summarize all the information I found and shared that with the program members via email.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. And as we continue this conversation, and again, if anyone has any questions for Ian on this other really exciting part of his life, feel free. I don't think we're going to get to everyone's questions this time, if there is a bunch, but feel free to send some questions into Ian about the Carter Center as well. Yeah, so you can keep talking about that. So you worked on elections. Was that your main job there, or?
Yep. Okay. Yep, that was the area I was under.
And then I've got a picture here of, I'm going to have you explain the picture, but this is Ian at the Carter Center, and a special visitor came. So explain this picture to us.
Well, that's me in the middle, and Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalind Carter. And they were just really kind people. We actually got to go to his hometown, which is a really small rural town in Georgia. And he used to be a peanut farmer. And anyways, we got to see his where he grew up, and he came and talked to us all for 20, 30 minutes as a group, which he does, I believe, to all his intern groups every year, which, this has been going on for 30 years. And they even sat down when we had lunch. We all, there was 30 to 50 of us interns, but when we all ate lunch, we all sat in tables of 5 or 6, and he and his wife would walk around to each table. This was a one-time thing when we were out at his where he grew up, and they walked around to each table and chatted with us for a minute or two, which is super, super cool that he would take the time to do that and give us all a picture too, and sign.
Yeah,
we can get books signed from him as interns. We get to send up to 2 books to him throughout our internship, and he'll sign them for us. So
that's awesome. So what did you talk to him about when he came to your table, or did you just say hello? Or
oh gosh, He said that actually he had been reading my reports and my draw like hit the table. I was like, what? That's all I remember.
He was reading your reports, and then what was the second thing he said?
My jaw hit the table.
Oh, yeah. That would be like, I'd be like, oh, I wish I would have spent more time on them. Or were they any good?
Yeah. No,
That's
I was
cool.
that was super cool.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
the former president reviewed your work,
Yeah.
and he wanted to talk to you afterwards. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
that's awesome. That's very,
Yeah.
very cool. It really shows. I think it shows his character, too. And I don't know much about him, but I think that that's pretty darn neat that he came and said hello to all the tables and comes back and is building houses when he's 100 years old. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
see if we had any questions come in.
I don't know if that's actually his age. I don't know if that's
Jimmy and Rosalind Carter are such a class act. What a great man. Yeah, seems like it. Cool. So, before we go on to our next question with Ian here, Ian and I are both involved in a big project right now. So this is what this episode is going to be sponsored by. This episode is sponsored by the Punk Starter campaign. So what the Punk Starter campaign is, since we lost a ton of our shows over the summer, we lost a lot of the money that we were going to make. So I do the band full time, and all those shows in the summer really, really made the band take a big hit. So we had to come up with something where instead of just asking people for money to help us, we wanted to do something where we could give you guys something. So we've been working on music during quarantine, and we've been doing live streams and things like that. And we started recording a new album. But instead of just giving out that new album and saying, purchase this album for $12, which a lot of people don't want to do anymore, which is understandable because you can stream it online for free, we decided that we're going to give you a ton of rewards, and then you also get the album. So in case you wanted to purchase the album, you still can, but you get a ton more as well. And what we're giving you is we came up with the idea of having founders. So it came from the Green Bay Packers, and Jeff was talking to me about the Green Bay Packers and how the fans own stock in the Green Bay Packers. So I was looking up how that works, and noticed that fans for the Green Bay Packers that own common stock get all of these rights. They get to vote on certain things. They get exclusive merchandise. They get first access to a lot of things. And the coolest part is just that they can say that they own the Green Bay Packers. Now, we couldn't do the exact thing as the Green Bay Packers because we're not a corporation. So instead of stock, we decided let's make people founders of the band. So you can join the band and be on our executive team, helping us make decisions on album covers, what songs will come out first sometimes, merchandise designs, and all that kind of thing by joining us as a founder. You'll also get access to exclusive merchandise that you might have helped to design then. You'll also get to be in this really special fan club that's only for founders, where we talk about upcoming things. There's other rewards, like you can get every single album we ever release. There's VIP meet and greets once we can meet again. There's all kinds of great rewards. And the way you can join us is by going to www.bit.ly/punkstarter. And you can join us for as little as $7, which is less than 1% of your stimulus check. And the levels go as high as $1,200, which would be donating your entire stimulus check. And we've gotten about 24 founders so far, and we just passed $1,000 yesterday night. So super exciting about that. We're trying to raise $10,000 because we think that will allow us to, then we can do a music video, we can promote the album a little bit larger. And also, this album is so much different than anything we've done before. It's a lot more punk rock inspired. It's a lot more classic rock inspired. And that came from just being frustrated in quarantine and needing something that just jammed a little bit harder. So we're really excited about this album. You can check it out there. There's some previews of the songs and more of an explanation on what this project is. But please either share this project, or if you're able to, please support that and become a founder of the band. Ian, is there anything that you wanted to add to that, or?
Oh gosh, I think you covered it pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's continue on here then. Let's see here. We've got clapping hands from Sierra. If you guys have any questions at all for Ian at this point, not regarding Carter Center or Ghana, just anything, go ahead and ask that now. Otherwise, we did have another thing planned here. I just got to take a look at what it was. Oh, another interesting thing about you is that right now you're an essential employee. How is that going?
It's going all right. I work in retail.
Okay. Grocery specifically, right?
Correct. So where I work, we have to wear masks at work now.
Okay.
Which I have no problem with. I think that is smart. It makes sense to keep everybody safe.
Your glasses fog up?
Yes, they do, because I'm in the coolers too. So
Okay.
they already do that without it. But
Yeah.
it's
But
manageable.
having your glasses fog up is better than being dead.
I would say so. Yeah. So yeah, honestly, I'm just grateful to be able to work when I know a lot of other people working in the service sector, like waitresses and people like that. We don't really care about musicians. Yeah, all those people.
Cool. Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. And then just a question about, what you do with Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers. So you've been a drummer for my band, Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers, for the last 4.5 years. And then before that, you were in my previous band and drummed with me there. So we've been playing music together for 6-7 years now, which is pretty cool. I was thinking about that the other day. But as far as Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers goes, what has been your favorite part of being in that band, this band?
Favorite? I mean, going out east last year on our So Far Sounds tour was super cool. Like, that was our first real tour, really. I mean, we went down to Texas before, and Illinois and Indiana or Iowa, but this one felt like a real tour because it was like over a week.
Okay.
And we crossed half the country.
Yeah.
In a van with Huel.
Explain what Huel is.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the ads on Facebook, Huel is like this powdered meal that's supposed to contain all the nutrients you need. And they thought it'd be a great idea to buy 3 5-pound bags of it, and that's all we were going to eat for the whole tour to save money. And we got sick of it after like a day.
Yeah, so that was nuts. So we were trying to figure out how we could do this tour without losing money. And we wanted to do this, so we were like all trying to figure out what's the best way to what do we get? We were all trying to figure out a way to save money. So I saw these ads for Huel, which was a meal replacement that you could just shake in a bottle, and then you had
still have
dinner.
it?
I still have a bag, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I might need it for the quarantine when things were when shit was hitting the fan. I was like, maybe I should hold on to this a little bit longer. But it's this powdered stuff. You chuck in water, and then you shake it up, and some of it dissolves.
It's like a protein drink.
And then you drink it, and about 15 minutes after you drink it, you start to have gas problems. immediately. So imagine 4 guys in a van just drinking this protein powder stuff, and then just all the windows had to come down. I know this is gross. I apologize, but it's
It's part of the band life.
so it was interesting. And then one of my funny memories is you spilling the water all over the floor in our Airbnb.
Yeah.
So we're in this Airbnb, and Ian is going to wash out the Huel container in the kitchen. And we were in an Airbnb in New York City, which was it was,
What was that
a
guy's
shared
name?
one. So we just had a room, so we were with another person, and Ian's washing the dish, which we found out later we weren't supposed to use the kitchen. And he drops it on the floor, and he screams the F word. And then this nice old lady comes in, and she's like, "Is everything okay?" Oh man, that was funny. Jesse Klein just joined. Is 99-cent pizza in NYC the best pizza you've ever had?
I think so.
So Jesse Klein, he was on this tour with us. He took photographs of us at many of our shows. Especially, he was at our Philly shows and at our New York shows. And great guy.
Yeah,
But
we
he
met him in
introduced us.
Philly.
Yeah, so that's another great thing about this tour is we posted this tour, and then this guy on Instagram just messages me and says, "Hey, I've seen your band in Eau Claire. I moved out to Philly. You guys are great. I'd love to have you stay at my place." So then I immediately creeped on him, and he did not say in any of his posts that he had murdered people. So I was like, not a murderer. So cool. We could probably stay with him. So yeah, so we stayed with him. He became a really good friend of ours, and then he came to New York with us, took pictures, and introduced us to 99-cent pizza, and also introduced us to $2 pizza when we were feeling a little spendy. So, all right, let's see what else we got here for questions. What's the best part of being in a band with Nick and Jeff? What's the worst part of being in a band with Nick
God,
and Jeff?
Sierra.
She's
It's
coming
gonna
in
be
with
hard
those
tonight.
zinger questions, yeah. And while you're thinking of that, I just wanted to show the audience that I'm wearing shorts today. So it only looks like I'm a professional.
That's the worst part. That's really hard. I mean, there's so many
Bad parts.
bad parts. No, I was gonna say good parts that it's hard to like. Well, both of them are like. I don't. That's just like a really tough set of questions.
Tell us.
there.
So instead of like narrowing it down to one, just tell us like what's one of the best parts of being in a band with Nick and Jeff, and what's one of the worst parts of being in a band with Nick and Jeff.
I don't know. One of the best parts is when we're playing music and we're in a song and it just clicks. We're all like tuned into each other. We don't even have to like think about it. It's just like we're feeling it. We're like our souls become one.
Yeah, for real. For real. I know how cheesy that sounds, but I totally understand. Yeah, it's that musician
and it just
stage
clicks.
drug.
And that's very rare actually. Like I feel like it maybe only happens like once or twice a year
Once in a
or something.
lifetime. Oh. No, I know what you mean. You're talking about like in our band, like so like you're talking about there's certain nights where just like everyone
certain songs on certain nights.
page. Yeah, I hear that too. And not to say that we don't click
It's like
all the
sex.
time, but like, it is. But like, there's certain times where the songs where everything just meshes perfectly and every single note of the song is fantastic and just the whole thing is magic. And then there's other times where the song it's good, but there's not that magic there for some reason. And yeah, those nights that happens, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that's one of your favorite parts. What's one of the worst parts?
It's heard Sierra laugh, I think, from
Yeah, Ian can hear you laughing out there. Sierra.
The worst, one of the worst part.
Yeah.
Being a band. Well, right now it's not being able to practice. or see
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah.
So the
I don't
worst
know.
part is that you miss us when we're gone. I
Yeah.
get that.
I don't
That's
know.
what Sierra always says too. She's like, the worst part about being married to you is
You
the
know.
time that I can't.
Things can get tense when we're trying to write stuff and
Yeah,
do stuff, but
that's
it's
true.
all part of the
Sierra says
shtick.
sorry for laughing on our show. All right, we got one more question here. Who is your favorite drummer?
Oh. Oh, that's a good one. That's my aunt. Aunt
Your aunt?
Kathy. Yeah.
Oh, the person who asked the question. I thought your aunt was your favorite drummer. And I was like, I didn't even know that your aunt played the drums.
No, my uncle did though. I wonder if I have to say Neil Peart just so. That's my uncle's
Who's your
favorite.
favorite drummer?
My
Or do I have to play the who's one of your favorite drummers card on this one?
I mean, I should really. I don't know. I guess I could say
No pressure from a rush.
Chad Smith
Chad Smith.
from
That's a
the
great
Chili
answer.
Peppers.
That's a great answer.
Just because they're one of my favorite. Like he can lay down a groove like none other. But
Yeah. And his snare drum work is fantastic.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we should get wrapped up here. See, this is what I thought you were going to say, too. I bet it's Phil Ehart. So, we should wrap up here. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about or see? Or does anyone out there have questions for Ian yet? Just a few. We'll take maybe one or two more. But Ian, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about or add? Or how are things going? Or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. I started filming the unboxing of my kit, so I'm gonna post a video on my page of that within this coming week, I believe.
I'll throw that page up here quick. It is if you search this on Facebook.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you wanted to check out my blog on my study abroad trip to Ghana, that's Ian Ghana. On Facebook, just search that.
Throw that up as well.
Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Awesome. Oh, looks like we did get another question here. Oh, just a comment. Unboxing videos are fun. They are fun. All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Ian. It's nice to see you on. It looks like we're only like a foot apart for the first time. It's so long.
Here, we should. Oh, how do I do this? Do we high five? Want to high five?
Oh, I thought we were gonna kiss. All right, and
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
My hand's bigger than yours.
3, 3,
again.
2, 1.
I feel like we need a sound effect.
Yeah. What if we did like a dance move, like a wrong way?
Oh shoot, that's asking for coordination. I can't. No, I don't know if I can do that. All right, we should probably end it.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, Ian. It was great to see you, and I'm glad everything is going well for you. Check out Ian McAlister, professional drummer, on Facebook if you'd like to take lessons or see some of the content Ian's going to put out next week. We're very excited to announce that he just got a sponsorship from SJC Drums, one of my favorite drum companies, as well as Pork Pie Percussion with his snare drum. So very excited for you, Ian. Thank you for being on the show, and it was great to learn a little bit more about you today.
All right, thanks.
Cool. All right, have a great night.
You too.
All right. Thanks to Ian for joining us. If you liked this show, if you liked Ian, if you hated it, if you hate me, whatever, just share it and tell people how much you dislike it. Or share it and tell people like Ian was cool, that other guy blows, or share it and just say nice things. That's an option as well. So, sharing this show, sharing our band's content is one of the great ways that you can support us and everything that we're doing here. We're working hard during quarantine to make sure we continue to bring you guys content and entertainment. And before ending the show, I just want to mention one more time, you can help us support our newest album by following this message here. You can become a founder of Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers. You can join the band for $7 or more. bit.ly/punkstarter. You can help us with our next album. You can support the arts in a really fun way that we think is going to be fantastic. We've already got 24 supporters, and we've just hit over $1,000, so we're really excited about that. Make sure to check it out at least. And with that, that is our show tonight. We went 46 minutes here to get to know Ian. I really was excited for this because whenever I have conversations like this with Ian, I always learn something about him that I didn't know. So get outside, get enjoying the beautiful weather if it's nice by you. Thank you again for tuning in to the Wednesday night show, and we will see you next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm Nick Anderson, and you guys have a fantastic evening and week. See ya.